The main mystery of the story is at the very end. Please watch the last part, then you will understand what the main plot of the story is. Since my marriage and moving to my in-laws' house, I have seen almost no relatives or other people, only my mother-in-law and my husband. My mother-in-law seemed very mysterious. Her behavior, her speech, her every move. My husband, too, felt strange and secretive. I noticed that my mother-in-law almost always ate raw fish and raw meat. On evenings when she took some raw fish and raw meat in her hands, she went up to the roof. One evening, after she went up to the roof carrying raw fish and meat, I quietly sneaked into her room. Secretly, I opened her cupboard and saw a black, horrifying doll inside. Inside the doll, at the bottom, there were several sheets of paper with strange writing and drawings. The doll looked alive, staring at me like a living person. At first, I was terrified. I trembled all over. Hearing her footsteps, I hid silently in a corner. Then she went into the bathroom, and when she did, I slipped out. She wouldn't have realized. But then, to my horror, she already knew. She called me and asked, "You did something wrong. For this, you must pay a very high price." After that, I called my mother and told her everything. When she heard it, she became very afraid. She said she would come, don't worry. But as soon as my mother said that, my mother-in-law knew. She told me to forbid my mother from coming, warning that she would be harmed. My mother didn't care. She said that if harm were to come, so be it. A little later, I received a phone call. My mother had had an accident. She could not come today. I was astonished. How was that possible? That night, when my husband came home, he tried to force himself on me. He wanted to be intimate. He forced me. It felt unnatural. No normal person would behave like that. To me, he didn't even feel human. The next morning, my mother-in-law called me and said, "Take a bath, freshen up, take those raw fish and meat and go to the roof. Leave them in that corner. Don't look back when you come down." I objected at first, but then I thought maybe I'll see what secret is hidden there, so eventually I agreed. After that horrible night, next morning my husband went to his mother with a happy face and told her, "Mother, your work is done, don't worry." I could not make sense of it. Then I went up to the roof. As I reached there, I felt a dark, invisible shadow flow around my body like air. Immediately, I felt a sharp pain in my belly, and there was some bleeding. My mother-in-law, hearing my scream, hurried over. She told me to come with her, and she said again, "Don't look back." She took the blood, went to the cupboard, and smeared the blood over that same doll. After that, I became very ill. Somehow, my mother came. She insisted on taking me to the doctor. At the clinic, the doctor told me I was pregnant. I kept asking, how was that possible? I couldn't even believe it myself. But yes, I was pregnant. Everyone was happy, most of all my husband and my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was so glad she refused to let me go anywhere. She didn't allow me to visit my father's home. My mother insisted I stay with her because I was weak, but my mother-in-law wouldn't allow it. After much struggle, my mother forcibly took me from my mother-in-law and brought me to my father's house. Meanwhile, at night when I slept, I had terrible nightmares. I dreamt about horrifying things, snakes' babies, insects with terrifying shapes, ghastly dreams that made me very scared. I told my mother about these nightmares. Now it has been 4 months. My belly has grown so much it seems it might burst. There's no way a baby would be born at 4 months, but the belly has grown so large that it seems impossible for the baby to stay inside. My mother took me to a religious scholar, a hujur. He looked at me and said, "This is not normal. Some spirit, some ghost is attached to your daughter. She is possessed by a disembodied spirit." When my mother asked what could be done, the hujur said, "My ustad, spiritual teacher, works against invisible powers. We can try to fight this." Eventually, the big hujur was brought in. When he looked, he said, "This is a very dangerous invisible power, the one who placed this child in your womb." Then the hujur meditated and learned everything, that the invisible power has been nurtured by your mother-in-law. She worships those invisible devils, always keeps them near, and through them does wicked deeds. Later, when she could not control the supreme destructive devil, the Kanash devil, the devil itself said, "You can control me only if you bring me the blood of a virgin girl's body and smear me on it." Then your mother-in-law tricked you. Using her son's name, she married you falsely, and that day she forced herself on you with that Kanash devil. She caused that Kanash devil's child to be placed inside your womb. By doing that, her devilish power would double. Your husband was also involved. Then your mother and the hujur together brought a nurse to the house, and after the nurse's intense efforts, eventually a hideous and horribly looking child was born. The hujur tried very hard to summon the Kanash devil, but he did not come. When he told him, "You have had your child, take it and go," the Kanash devil confronted him. The hujur said, "You must leave my daughter's body completely so you never return." But the Kanash devil refused. Then he threatened, "If you don't accept me, I will kill your child." The Kanash said, "Fine, I will leave her body forever, but don't kill my child. If you kill my child, I will never spare any of you." Even though all the devil's accomplices were killed, this Kanash devil remained too powerful. It could not be subdued or killed. Finally, the hujur used a special technique. He separated the devil from my body and at the same time killed that child. The devil became furious and said, "I will never spare you." Then the hujur prepared talismans and charms to ensure that the Kanash devil could never return. After that, I recovered. The Kanash devil vanished. A few days later, I divorced my husband. Then I heard that my husband went mad and wandered in the streets. My mother-in-law, very sick, died. From this story, we learn 1. Sin never spares even its own parent. 2. If you dig a hole for someone else, you yourself will fall into that hole. That is ordained by the Creator. 3. The idea of invisible spirits or non-corporeal beings may indeed hold truth.